Okay, good afternoon. We've got a few people that may still be jumping on. We want to go ahead and get started. We appreciate and respect your time. This afternoon, there's a lot of things for us to go over. We want to make sure that we give you ample time to hear, review, digest some of these items. If you have a notepad handy, whether it's tablet, your phone, actual pen and paper, whatever it is you utilize to take notes with, now might be a great time to grab that as we get ready to get started today. We're going to go over several things, and what we'd like to do is give you an opportunity to write down something that may be a good idea. I think there's going to be a lot of good ideas here, a lot of what we call golden nuggets here. So we want to present these things to you so that you can take down some notes. And then if you've got a question about something, we want you to be able to follow up and ask. Today is going to be going over a lot of information. It's going to feel like drinking from a fire hose. So we don't have time to stop and ask and answer questions today. But if you have a question, we want to answer it. So, whether that's, hey, shoot an email, shoot a text, schedule a time for a call, we'll be happy to do any of those things. You're going to hear a lot of things talked about today. The major takeaway is everything we do is wrapped up and encapsulated in safety. Safety is the most important aspect. You'll hear us say, you're the most important item in the truck. We want to make sure you understand there's basically three aspects of safety that we go over. The first one is your physical health, and that's what most people think about. Hey, I want to be careful not to, hurt myself in anything that we do. So, on all of our trucks, should be on all of our trucks, you see we've got some stickers on the outside, especially when you go to grab the door handle. 3 points of contact. Make sure you got 3 points of contact. We don't want you slipping and falling, getting in or getting out of the truck. On the pintle hook on the back of the truck, there should be a sticker there, or they're getting stickers. We're getting some stickers, especially for you guys there outside the Atlanta area. We're getting some stickers that'll be on very soon that says, don't give your dolly the finger. And it's got a picture of a big thumb there on that sticker, because thumbs and fingers can get smashed in between the pintle hook lever where it closes, especially on the trailer. That one slams down very fast and with a lot of force. And so we don't want anybody injured. Well, make sure that you have a safety vest. We also hand out gloves that have neon fingertips, and it says, watch your hands. We're trying to do things to be mindful about your physical health. So we're going to talk over several of those things. And in your new hire packet, you should receive a powerlifting, couple of short 2-minute powerlifting videos. It talks about picking up the dolly, using your legs, having a straight back, lifting with your legs, keeping your arms straight, and crab walking to put that dolly on. And then also talks about utilizing your hand as what we call a bridge to be able to support your lower back when you're putting on airlines, when you're cranking up the legs on a trailer. We want to make sure that you're safe physically. We're also going to talk today about your mental health and being safe mentally. So that's the second phase of this. And you can just imagine all these basically are circles, but all these circles overlap. So every part of this overlaps because this is all important for us, for you. This is important to you. Your safety in these three aspects that we're going to discuss today is of vital importance to us. So your mental health and your being mentally prepared. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And again, that's getting rest before my shift, getting rest on my 34-hour reset, just being prepared, clearing my mind to be prepared to drive. We're going to go through that. Finally, and just as equally important, maybe more so at times, is your financial health or your financial safety. And we want to go over a lot of things today that will help prevent you from being made inactive safety, which basically means, hey, I got suspended from my job. I'm suspended and I can't do any work. Or even worse, we don't want anything to happen where you could be terminated. So we're going to go over those things today. We want to make sure you understand the rules, understand the policies, understand the way that we talk about our safety pay. And so what could happen if I get a speeding ticket or CSA violations, anything that could take away from my financial health. We want to go over those things so that you have a clear understanding of expectations. We're laying out, if you will, those parameters so that you understand what's expected of you. If you think about professional sports, whatever the professional sport is that you like, maybe it's baseball, basketball, soccer, bowling, racing, whatever it may be. There's three things that you find with those professionals that are very much akin to this business, to what you're doing, what we do. Number one, they know the rules. When you're playing football, basketball, baseball, they understand the rules of the game. They understand what the rules are. We want to talk through a lot of those rules today. This is a refresher for a few important DOT rules or items that we happen to see. But we want to make sure that, hey, you're refreshing yourself on that. You're understanding the things that we request, our customer, FedEx requires of us, of you. We're going to go over those so you're familiar with the rules. Second thing is all the professionals, they practice. Not only do they practice, but they attempt to practice perfectly. I had a coach that used to say, practice doesn't make perfect, because you can practice wrong all day long. Perfect practice makes perfect. We want to work on that to be getting better every day, every week. We want to go from good to great, great to greater. We want to be more effective and efficient in all that we do. And we take that from my standpoint to everyone's standpoint. We want to make sure, hey, we're just being as efficient, effective, as great as we can be. And we're always learning. We never stop learning. All of us are always learning. We want to make sure that, hey, we're practicing these items we're going to talk about. And then finally, and just as importantly, it's fun to watch. When you're watching a basketball game, again, baseball, football, whatever your sport that you enjoy to watch, and they make some miraculous, it seems like, catch or shot or goal, whatever the case may be, or wow, I can't believe that they defended and he denied him that shot in basketball. Unbelievable. But did you see the way he had his footwork planted, the way he was watching the center mass of his body, not just watching his head fake, and then he jumped right when the shooter jumped and just smacked that thing in the third row, right? Those things are fun to watch. Again, you've got a front row seat to a beautiful landscape. It changes with every mile that you drive, looking out that windshield. And we want you to be familiar with the rules, practicing perfectly. So you're executing every day, every mile perfectly, and it's fun. You got just what a great opportunity. You're not stuck in some cubicle somewhere. You've got a great opportunity to be on the open road, to get to see different things, to do different things. Let's make sure we understand these important parts so we can get to that enjoyment, which I think each of you were looking for in this career, and the enjoyment of being out on the open road and driving. So again, we want to go over the rules. We want to talk about how we practice those things, and then we want to make sure you're executing on that every day. I want to introduce our team, and then I'm going to give a quick layout of how we're going to proceed today. And then we're going to dive right in. Myself, you're meeting me, Andy, my wife, Natalie, and I, we're the owners of the companies. We have 3 different companies that work hand in hand together that contract with our best and favorite customer, FedEx. We want to make sure that you understand a little bit about our team members, who they are, and who to reach out to. We've got a team of people here to help you succeed. So myself, I handle a lot of the chief operations of day-to-day, from making sure that maintenance things have been fulfilled with our maintenance team, to making sure that our driver managers, we're scheduling, staffing, and making sure that we're taking care of issues with our customer. Natalie is in charge of safety. So she helps to review over our safety concerns that we may have from the camera system that we have. We get triggering events. We're going to discuss that a little bit more shortly today. She'll may reach out to you, help with an issue that we may see, or coach through an issue, remind of an issue. We also do something with our safety that's called a performance improvement plan, PIP for short. So if we have a PIP, this isn't, oh, you're in the doghouse. This is, hey, here's an opportunity for us to work on something and get better. Oftentimes what we'll see is, hey, there may be an area that you're driving through frequently that has a construction zone. And we're, hey, let's be mindful of the construction zone. We've got drivers that have had tickets in construction zones where there were not active workers present. And our customers, we've had several meetings with FedEx, and they remind us, hey, these speeding violations go against your company safety score, goes against the driver's safety score. And we want to make sure that everybody's safe and careful, and nobody wants a speeding ticket on your commercial driver's license record, your motor vehicle record, nor do we want that for the company as well. So we may call and say, hey, be mindful in this area, be mindful going down a mountain where the speeds are reduced. Be mindful of that. So we'll try to have a coaching session. If we continue to see the same types of things happening, we would have a performance improvement plan where we're going to give you a plan in writing. We're going to go over that plan with you verbally also and show you videos of maybe, hey, here's the things, here's what's happening, here's what we're seeing. Let's work to make sure that we can get better with this, and then have a timeline, 30, 60, 90 days to make sure we're doing these things, but having a written plan to say, here's what's happening, here's the corrective action to take, and here's the expectations moving forward. So you have that, you can review that. And then from there, if we needed to have any type of a write-up or something like that, you could do the written reprimands. But again, we're trying to avoid that. That's no good for anybody. We don't want that for you. We don't want that for us. So we want to make sure that you understand a little bit about how that safety department works. A PIP is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity. It's a lot of times I've heard it said problems or opportunities. So we'll take, hey, this is, something, hey, I screwed up, and just a lot of times it helps to say, you know what, I did that. You're right. I admit I did that. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to work at it. Hey, that's what we want. We just want to say, hey, we're striving to get better every day. Maybe we fail sometime in the future. We might, but we're going to be mindful of it. So that's going to be few and far between, if ever again. So we just want to be mindful of that. Again, want you to be from good to great, great to greater. Just want you to be the best you can be. So Natalie heads up safety. She's going to share a little bit more about some of our safety policies and program that we have a little bit later on today. We have driver operations managers that help with dispatch, that help with issues that you may encounter with either waiting on a trailer door to close, or waiting on getting dispatched, or maybe an issue with the truck. So Kelly and Dustin are on and can assist with that. In the greater Atlanta area, we have a maintenance team that's headquartered there, that's housed there, if you will. Marvin, Raphael, Tim is a team of people that are there that can address issues on trucks and let them know. And typically, again, if I've got an issue, if I see something, say something. You're going to hear us many times. Communication is the key to happiness. Think about that just a minute. That's a saying that you can use in all aspects of your life from today forward. Communication is the key to happiness. If I'm not communicating well with my spouse, there's probably going to be some trouble in paradise. We've got to be able to communicate. We've got to be able to talk through any issues that arise, any feelings that may arise. And same way, you've got to let your driver manager know, hey, this is what's going on with the truck, or here's what's going on with maybe a teammate, something else is happening. Well, communicate with us. It's key to happiness. So let us know what's going on. But especially when it comes to truck issues, if you know, I've got the AC is out or going out in the bunk of the truck, hey, let us know that immediately when that's happening, so we can see, hey, can I put you in a different truck? Can I go ahead and get that scheduled as soon as you get back in, so I can have it scheduled for somebody to look at? We can get maintenance to fix that, a mobile shop or another shop that we utilize to be able to come out, fix that, or get that fixed so that it's ready as soon as you get back in and start your next work week or work day, if that's possible. Let us know that immediately. A lot of times our teams will be running, Monday through Saturday, Tuesday through Saturday, and then somebody will reach out Monday at 4:30 afternoon. Oh yeah, by the way, I meant to tell you that the truck AC is going out. I want to see if we get that fixed before we leave at 4 a.m. in the morning, Tuesday morning. Well, 12 hours notice is normally not going to get something like that done. If you already knew that the Thursday before, reach out and let us know then. That way we can go ahead and schedule it. We can be looking at it as soon as you get back in Saturday night, Sunday morning. We can order what parts we need to and have that repaired and fixed on Monday. So by 4:30 in the afternoon Monday, it's ready to go. It's already done. Again, communication is key to happiness. If you see something, say something. So we've got a maintenance team that's there to help with that. And again, that really goes along with tires. I'm going to talk a little bit more about tires later, but if you see a bolt in a tire, there's an issue with something in a tire, let us know that immediately. A lot of times we can have that tire changed before you come back to the truck. So let us know. We'll make sure that that's fixed ASAP, or we can get that done. If you're on the road, we can plan ahead and say, hey, pull in here. They're going to get you just as soon as you can get there. Again, see something, say something. Communication is the key to happiness. You've met our HR team. You've talked with either Zerna, Kayla, Maria, or maybe all of them at some point in time. Our HR team there is there to help you. They can help not only with questions about pay, but also questions maybe about insurance that we have, the health, dental, vision, short-term disability insurances that the other insurances that we offer through our broker. They can get you the information so you can contact the broker directly. If I've got a question about pay, I'm not going to call Marvin, our maintenance guy, and go, hey, I got a question about pay. I need to reach out to HR. Likewise, I'm not going to call HR and say, hey, I've got a problem with my tractor or with my dispatch that they don't have the doors closed. I'm going to call my driver operations manager. I want to make sure that we're trying to communicate with the proper people for what we need. Again, if we can communicate with them, HR at cornerstonetrucking.com is the email to reach out to them with questions day or night, and then they'll get back with you just as soon as they get back in. Finally, we also utilize it's our third-party vendor. It's called My Fleet AI. They help us with about all of our ELD issues and most of our camera issues. So if I'm having trouble logging into the ELD, there is a specific 800 number or toll-free number that you can call and speak with them, and they'll be happy to walk through what we need to do about getting in the ELD, maybe editing time, or if I've got a question with camera. So we're going to share that telephone number with you. All of our contact information is going to be in the email that we're going to send to you after today, after our orientation session is over. It's got bullet points that we think are important, that we highly suggest you read, reread, and reread again over time. Look at it, take a glance at it, look at it again next week, a few days after that, or the following week. It's just, again, some good nuggets of information that we want to put in there that will help you be successful in this job. The contact information, email addresses, phone numbers are for each person that's on our management team is in that email. And it's also in the book, which is in each truck. And we're going to talk through that in just a moment. Again, this is a team of people. My Fleet AI, they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A lot of times, Kelly's dispatching, Dustin are dispatching early in the morning. Throughout the day, I'm dispatching usually from 4:35 p.m. until maybe midnight, 1 a.m. early in the morning. Somebody's typically available throughout the day. We have drivers that are running trucks that are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So usually you can get a hold of somebody to be able to ask a question about an issue. Again, communication is the key to happiness. If you call somebody and they don't answer, shoot them a text message or leave a voicemail. Specifically, if I've got a problem with the truck, if I said, hey, I've got a blown steer tire and I'm on I-75 North, mile marker 306 in Georgia, I'm going to know exactly where you are. By the time, if you send me that text message, I would either reach out to your driver ops manager if they were available. If not, if I was handling that call, I would already be on the phone with one of our vendors, such as Goodyear. I would call them, tell them exactly where you are, the position of the tire. And by the time I called you back, I would say, hey, you should be getting a text any moment. Goodyear's en route. They're 120 minutes out. That's what's typical for most of these type of tire calls. It's 120 minutes out. They'll be there. They've got a steer tire on the way. Just hang tight. Help's coming. If you give us a clear, succinct message of, hey, this is what's going on, this is my issue, that will help us, because that's what you want. Hey, we want to get resolved to that. We solve problems. You want to hear, hey, I've got it. Don't stress, don't worry, help's on the way. So if you can give us a clear, concise description of what's going on, then we can get that assistance. So when we call you back, we're calling you back with the answer. A lot of times we'll hear drivers that will call and say, "Hey, I've got a problem with the truck. Give me a call back. Tell me a little bit more about the problem. Be more descriptive about the problem." Or, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody about something." Okay, tell us what that something is. Be descriptive. I've had people before. "Hey, I wanted to ask you if I want to take a cruise in January with my family next year." Well, if I'm helping you, for example, with a breakdown, or FedEx is calling and we're trying to get trailer doors closed for somebody, and somebody else is asking about trying to take a vacation 6 months from now, that's important. That's not important, but we just have to prioritize what we're doing. So I want to make sure I get the guy that needs to be out, or if you had a breakdown, I need to help you going first. Let's get some resolve to your matter first, and then we'll talk about the other issue. So again, that's just being respectful maybe to other people that you work with. You don't know what they may be doing or going through and what we may be working on. So just communicate with us clearly and concisely. It's all we're looking for. Just communication is the key to happiness. For today, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health, pre-trip, post-trip, the usage of the MTA. It stands for Mobile Trip App, or you may have referred to it as Trip Buddy, Purple ID. It's basically the dispatching system that FedEx uses. We're going to talk about the use of the ELD. We use the Motive ELD and camera system. We're also going to talk about putting equipment where it's supposed to go when we're done. Our customer asks us to put dollies up in the dolly pool, drop trailers in the inbound lanes that are loaded. If they're empty trailers, put them in the empties area. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our connections, hooking up, making sure that we always hook up both safety chains, hooking our panels and locking the panel hook. Also taking pictures of our connections, and we dispatch on another app that we have. It's called the Line Drive app through eTruckBiz. Natalie's going to share a little bit about the Line Drive app, eTruckBiz. Also, we have safety trainings that we do weekly on there. She's going to talk through that, talk through safety policies, and just some good rules to be familiar with, to know. I'm also going to talk about making sure to always get out and look, especially if you ever have to pull a trailer off of the dock door. We'll talk about some common violations that are seen sometimes, and just things that would help you to maximize your performance in the job. The ELD, the compliance issues, and then wrap up with just some of our safety culture of thoughts, and reviewing and summarizing the rest of the orientation. So there's a lot of things to go over. Let's dive in. One of the most important aspects is having good mental health. In order to have good mental health, we need to make sure we get a break, not just a physical break, but also a mental break. So when we're getting ready for the work week, or maybe when we're ending a work week, we want to make sure you do something that's enjoyable for you. When you're taking your 34-hour reset, try to do something that's enjoyable for you. Maybe that's going to the park. Maybe it's going to the gym and working out, spending some time with friends, going to a movie, resting on the couch and binging out, watching some Netflix, or watch sports. Whatever that looks like for you, make sure to take some time to relax, to refresh yourself, to recharge your batteries, so that you'll be prepared for the next work week. That time off is so vitally important, and we want to make sure that you do something for you. So enjoy that time to get, with maybe some friends or family, or alone, whatever that looks like for you, that you need to recharge and refresh yourself. Make sure that you do that. So vitally important. Additionally, make sure that you get some good physical rest. I know it's a beautiful time of year. There's a lot of things to be done outside, and I may hear oftentimes, "Hey, I've got a doctor's appointment. My mom needs help patching up her roof. I've got a sister that needs a yard mowed. My brother asked me to come over and help him move some stuff. My wife wants me to fix the sink or put in a new dishwasher." I understand we understand you've got some things to do. Don't try to do all those items in one day and then try to come in that night and start driving and working where you've stayed up all day. You've worked and done a 12-hour work day in 8 hours, and you're just physically exhausted. Space that out. All those things may need to be done, but plan and schedule out. Hey, I know I got to go to a doctor's appointment. Let me schedule it out on this day, and I'm going to kind of try to protect the rest of the day. I'm going to make certain that, hey, I need to help my mom and I need to help my sister. But then I'm going to protect some time here so I've got time for the rest of the day. We want to make sure that you're getting plenty of physical rest. Likewise, when you're driving, if as soon as I'm done and my shift's over, I've driven my hours, I've put my equipment up, maybe I'm going home, maybe I'm on the truck on a team. I want to make sure that when you get to the bunk, yeah, people like to unwind, maybe scroll some social media or watch a video or talk to some family members. But again, we want to protect your mind, be restful, do some things that help you unwind, that help you to kind of relax so that you can get some good sleep. We have aftermarket memory foam mattresses that we put in the trucks, and that's in an attempt to make sure that you can get some good rest. We understand you're moving down the road, but that we have found that spending that money, that effort to find a mattress that is relaxing, that's as comfortable to help you get the maximize your rest, get the best rest you can. So make sure that you take some time when you're in the bunk and just try to get your best rest possible. Try to get good, sound sleep. So that way, when you're ready to get to work for the next work day, you're rested, you're vibrant, you're ready to go. When we get to the truck, and maybe sometimes when you're getting out of the bunk, when you're getting ready for your shift, we also want to make sure that our mind is clear around all the big cities, Atlanta, Dallas, Nashville, Savannah, wherever you may be driving. There's all kinds of in a wreck, need a check, do we cheat them and how, hook and crook law firms that are out there saying, oh, you were in a wreck with a big truck, next stop, big settlement. They have all these little nuanced sayings. And again, you've got a little bit of a target on your back because of that. And so we want to make sure that you're not only rested, but you're mentally ready to drive. If I've got in an argument with my spouse or with a parent or with somebody else, or I've got, man, I'm worried about this financial situation, or mom, I got a bad report at the doctor, whatever that may be, those problems are still going to probably be there after your shift is over. Rather than worrying about it and just being so stressed about that, so concerned about that, let's let that go. Let's say, hey, you know what? I got to set that aside. I got to compartmentalize. I'm mentally just going to set that aside. We'll work on some ideas and come up with some solutions for some of those things, how we're going to move forward, how we're going to adjust to make some things. But I don't want that to distract you, because when people are distracted mentally, they're more likely to be in an accident. And that's why I reference those lawyer billboards that you see all around towns. They're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake or somebody to not be paying attention to say, hey, I didn't mean to do it. Of course you didn't mean to do it. They're just waiting for that chance to be able to sue you, sue us, sue FedEx, sue everybody in sight, make your life very difficult. We don't want that for you. We have got the t-shirt, we've got the scars, to prove it hurts. We don't want that. We want to make sure that when you're behind the wheel, hey, I'm mentally there. So if I'm getting ready to get in the truck, just proverbially, I'm going to wipe my feet off on that bottom step. I'm just wiping whatever that issue is. Maybe somebody said something negative to me. Hey, wipe that junk off. Maybe somebody's negative to you driving down the road. Hey, you had to pass somebody, or maybe somebody thinks that, you cut them off, or whatever the case may be. If they're flipping you off and they're telling you you're number one, and that, trying to cuss at you or whatever, rather than take the bait, hey, they're having a horrible day and they've got just a bunch of trash they're trying to throw off. You're not their dumpster. You're not their trash can. Don't let that junk fall on you. Before I get in that truck, or when I'm in that truck, hey, I'm going to brush my shoulders off. Don't let that go. I'm going to be a vigilant driver, a safe driver. You're not trying to do anything reckless or careless. But if, again, mentally prepared, mentally ready to drive. And again, if you have that type of situation where somebody's kind of heckling you or whatever the case may be, let's be thinking ahead, looking ahead. Hey, is there a safe exit to get off on? Let me get out of the truck at safe exit, way station, welcome center, rest area, truck stop, whatever the case may be. Get out, walk around the truck, let crazy go on down the road. You're never going to take the crazy or get the crazy out of them. Let them go on. You stop what you're doing, take 10, 20 minutes, get out, walk around the truck, cool off, maybe if you stop somewhere, get you something to drink, reset yourself. Don't let anybody else influence you. Some of these lawyers pay people to do this type of stuff and then get in front of you and slam on the brakes and, oh, they hit me. Everybody falls out of the car like they're, paralyzed for the rest of their life, even though they're playing basketball the day before they go to court. Again, we want your mind to be clear. That's the takeaway here. If something happens on the road, find a place that you can exit. Take a minute to chill out, cool it back down, call a driver manager, talk them through what's happened, let us know what's going on. We want to make sure that you're calm, cool, and collective and clear. You got to keep a cool head, as you are. Remember, you are a professional. When I'm looking at getting in the truck, I think about those things first. I think about, hey, you've gotten rest, you're mentally prepared. Now we're getting to the truck. Whether I'm on the road on a team run or I'm coming to the truck for the first time for the work week or the work day. As I'm walking up to the truck, I really want to be looking at the truck saying, hey, do I see it leaning? Do I see a pool of fluids underneath the engine compartment? What types of things am I seeing that may be something that's going to prevent me from taking the truck, from driving? What am I seeing here? Do I see any oil coming out of a wheel seal? There's a wheel seal leaking. Do I see flat steer tire and the truck's leaned over to one side or the other? Again, looking at the truck as I walk up to it, as I get to the truck. I want to make sure that you understand we've got a thorough pre-trip that's required. That is a DOT requirement. It's also a company requirement. So not only is it our policy, but it's the law. So there is an exhaustive list inside the book that I've talked about. And we have a book, it's a 3-ring binder in every truck that has an exhaustive list of things that we want to make certain that you look at. I'm going to go over just a few things. I'm going to talk about just some major items, but there's an exhaustive list in the truck. There's exhaustive lists. There's a lot of great material online. You may say, hey, I've utilized this. That's fantastic. Show us what you're using. Maybe we incorporate that, but we've got an exhaustive list in the book for doing a pre-trip and a post-trip. Vitally important. I've got to look over the truck after the work day, after the work week, so I can look to make sure, hey, is there a nail in here? Is there a bolt in here? Is there anything that's happened with this truck while I've been driving it that's going to prohibit me from running next week, from being ready to go when I get to the truck my next work day? You see something, say something. We can get those things fixed. If I get a call 20 minutes before you're supposed to dispatch, hey, I found a bolt in my tire, and we say, well, the truck hadn't moved since you parked it 2 days ago. It was there. We just didn't do a thorough post-trip. So now we're going to have to figure out something, and that can eat into everybody's day. We need to make sure that you can work, and so we've got to make sure the equipment's ready. See something, say something. That post-trip, pre-trip and post-trip, that is the law. It's your responsibility to do. When I get to the truck, obviously, like I said, you're kind of looking at the outside of it as you're walking up towards it. A lot of people may carry a bag with them or some items with them. You're going to open and unlock the truck. On most of our trucks, we have hide keys on the outside. So we want to make sure that you're familiar with where the hide key is. The driver manager can go over those specifics with you on where the hide key is. We also want to make sure on the Volvos that we have, and most of the Cascadias, the kill switch is on the inside, but on the Volvos, a lot of them are right above the batteries, just underneath basically the driver floorboard. So when you open up that panel where the hide key would be, just make sure the kill switch is turned on, and then put that panel back up and close it. That way, make sure that the kill switch is on. So when we get to the truck and we're ready to start it, not ready until after we've done a lot of our pre-trip, but when we're ready to start it, we can do so. So I open the truck up and normally put my things in. And we want to open up the hood. I want to share with you just real quickly a video, and we're going to talk through just a few things that we see that we like to look over when we're looking at the truck. So hopefully everybody can see the video here, and I'm going to start this momentarily and just share some of these things with you. Again, I'd already mentioned to you, you've got to get up there and look at the hood. But one of the first things that we want to do once you open the hood is you want to just look and inspect the truck. Hey, do I see any hoses that are off, belts that are off? We clearly want to check the oil. So the driver here is checking the oil. We want to make sure that it looks good. Preferably we have a rag. Some people obviously use the steer tire, but we want to check the oil. These are the major things that we do before we ever start the truck. We want to make sure that there's plenty of oil that's there on the dipstick. In this instance, it's a little hard to see, but that was good. There's plenty of oil there. We also want to look at the coolant. There's coolant level in here on the mark the marks may be on the other side, but we want to look at that coolant level. If I've got a power steering pump over here, I want to look at it. I want to look at the steering column to make sure that that is snug and tight. While I'm here, I want to look at the steer tires. I look at these tires, make sure not only that they're inflated, but also do I see any wear? Do I see any type of what I call funky wear? And we'll see some, I think, potentially on another video here. As we walk around the truck, I want to make sure that we're looking at our drive tires. We're always, again, making sure that there's no bolts in the tires, looking at the tires, making sure that they're solid. You can tell the difference between a flat tire, it makes this deep thud, or a solid aired up tire. It's a solid tire. So we want to be looking, I want to make sure, obviously, if I feel that thud and you feel it shake and vibrate on there, hey, it's flat. Let's see if what may end up being in the tire. Is there anything that's in the tire there? Also, I want to look over our air lines and our electric cord. Make sure to look at the grommets, those and the glad hands, those rubber seals there. Make sure they're not cracked. Look at your green cord and look at your air lines all the way down those lines to make sure that they've not been rubbing anywhere. Let's stop here just for a minute. Oftentimes what we'll see is when you hook up to the trailer, it may rub on what's called the quarter fender. That's where that says Volvo here on this. That's a quarter fender. It will rub on that or rub a hole in an airline and just makes for a bad day, or it could rub on the catwalk. Again, we want to make sure once you've connected your airlines, make sure that they're not hanging where it can get caught on that. I had done this just for the ease of doing the video. I laid them there on the catwalk. However, we all know there are holders on the back of the cab. They need to be put in the holders. The drivers I've seen, they'll lay them here and then take off down the road, and then they slide backwards and they get wrapped around that front drive axle and rip out. And that, again, makes for a bad day for everybody. So we don't want that. So make sure to put those up in the holder there. Okay. I want to make sure to tell everybody in our trucks, we have you can see this here. This is what's called a shim. These shims go on the green cord. So when I've got a green cord, and just to show you a different picture of a shim, when I've got a green cord, it goes on the green cord just like this. So that electric cord, this is a shim. If you can imagine with me, when you're hooking up to a trailer, you're hooking up to that trailer box. A lot of those boxes, they get worn out. People are plugging in, pulling out, plugging in, pulling out. Some people are pulling down. Some people are pushing up. So it's what I call, they get wallowed out. And the shim allows that to go in there and have a snug fit. Why is that important? It's important because if that is loose, then what that's going to do, it's going to blow a fuse in the truck, and you'll take it over and say, hey, my trailer lights aren't working, or the top lights on my trailer are not working. And if there's a shop like it in Atlanta at 303 or 305 Marietta, or in Dallas at 753, they're going to say, hey, that's your truck. Nothing wrong with this trailer. That's your truck. Well, you're right. It is the truck, because the trailer electric cord housing was not, it's been wallowed out. It wasn't snug and tight. So it allowed our green cord to wiggle and blew a fuse on our truck. So you're right. You're not getting juice from the truck because the fuse blew. We put this shim on before. Let me reiterate that and state it again. We put the shim on before we ever plug into the trailer. Hey, you plug into the trailer. Oh man, lights aren't working over there. Let me put that shim on, try it now. Oh, it's still not working. Well, I don't know what happened. I can tell you what happened. The fuse blew the first time that you plugged it in without the shim. So put the shim on, and that's just a safeguard. And when you pull the electric cord out, sometimes those shims, they like to stay in there. They are not to give out. Those are for us to keep in the truck. We're not trying to provide FedEx's trailers with these shims. They're not super cheap. But we can order a few of them at a time, but we want to make sure we keep those shims with us, because you're going to need it for the next trailer you hook up to. So make sure there should be a shim in every truck. If you don't have one, reach out to your driver manager, and we're going to work on making sure that you get one. But I just want you to see that shim, a really important tool, because a lot of times people say, man, I can't leave, a trailer lights, I got a problem. And, now we're maybe delayed 30 minutes to an hour waiting on a shop to find out, hey, if I'd have used that shim, I'd have been an hour ahead. I'd have been on down the road. I wouldn't have a blown fuse. And now we may have to go through how to fix the fuse issue. So please make sure to be mindful of that. Let me get back in here to some of our video just a minute.
Also back.
That's one part I am glad that I mentioned there. Make sure the fifth wheel slid all the way back. Again, why is that? Well, you see these beautiful mud flaps here that we try to have for all of our trucks. And we make sure that those mud flaps, we typically have the drop-in type here. If I'm pulling a belly trailer, and we know the difference between a belly trailer and a straight rail pup. A straight rail pup looks like a 53 footer. It's just flat all the way to the bottom. A lot of these trailers are what they call belly trailers. So you come out from the fifth wheel, then they drop down. It has a step down in it, and then goes back and then has a step back up in it. We want to make sure that if we have a belly trailer, we take these mud flaps off. These are just drop ins, put them under your bunk. You need these when you're bobtailing. You can obviously use them with a 53 footer, but if I've got a belly trailer, these get ripped off a lot of days, a lot of times. This is your responsibility to be mindful of that. We want to make certain that you have mud flaps when you need them. If I have to bobtail somewhere, I don't have one that's ripped off or it's disfigured, that I'm going to get a citation if I'm driving down the road with it without a trailer. So keep these, we try to put these mud flaps underneath the bunk in that center section. There's a good place there to put that. I know, there's cabinets and storage space for you and for some of your items, but make sure you got those in the cab there with you so that they're there when you need them. Again, that fifth wheel should be slid all the way back. That helps us from that happening. Rarely are we pulling weight that we need to slide that fifth wheel, so it should be slid all the way back. Check every time. Make sure somebody else hadn't used that truck and moved the fifth wheel. And then additionally right here, you can see the pintle hook. We can see the two D-rings over here, but this orange sticker that you see on the back of the frame, that's that mentioned earlier. Don't give your dolly the finger. So we want to make sure, again, you're mindful of that being safe and your physical safety is concerned. What I want to do is I'm looking around the truck, again, checking the tires, looking at tread depth, just making sure these tires are properly inflated. Most all trucks also should have a gauge to make sure that they are aired up. Those rear tires should be at 100, 105 PSI, and the steer tires should be 105 to 110 PSI. So as we walk on around here to the front, again, we're looking at this coolant level. We're looking to make sure that this is a very important thing here. This is what's called a Davco filter, a fuel water separator. We want to make sure the fuel water separator, that fuel is not up near where this is the top of the fuel at the top of the fuel filter, this black line up here. We want to make sure it's well below that. And again, look at this when the truck's off, because once it's running, obviously there'll be fuel flowing through there, so that this level will rise. But when it's turned off, both on your pre-trip and post-trip, make sure that you're looking at that Davco filter to make certain that there's nothing or that the fuel level is below, if you will, this black line or below the top here. Those fuel filters, again, in the Atlanta area, we change those out frequently. We can change that out in 10, 15 minutes, really quick, really straightforward. If you get broke down on the side of the road, you need that filter changed out for some reason, it's extremely expensive, not only for a call out fee, but I had a driver that went to Love's recently. They told him it'd be a 5-hour wait before they could even get to him to look at changing out the filter. Again, that just takes a lot of your time. So when we can see something and say something, we can fix these types of things when you're on your 34 break, or when you're off the truck for the day, or like I said, the weekend, whatever the case may be. We can get these things fixed. So definitely want you looking at that. And again, looking over here at these belts and hoses, do I see anything frayed? Do I see any of these hoses that look like the connections, it's popped off, or maybe I see a hole or something in that. So again, I'm just looking over the engine compartment, just making certain that I'm taking good look to make sure about the fuel filter. This one's a very important piece of looking over the truck. If you'll see this, you see the tread wear here on this particular tire, that's got some inside wear to it. lights coming down through there, that's something I want to take a picture of and send to your driver manager and start discussing immediately. We can look at that, and maybe it needs an alignment. Maybe it needs just simply the tire needs to be balanced. I can take this tire, we can flip flop these around and try to fix those issues. So again, if I see some tire wear, if you see something, say something. These tires are expensive. We want to get on top of this. We never want to have a steer tire below. Any tire issues, we find that usually 85% of the time, that's something we could have caught on a pre-trip or a post-trip, and it was preventable. So before this tire gets any more wear on it, for example, we're going to do something about this. If you ever see a tire, especially steer tires, and you can see steel belts on the edges, that is ready to blow. Basically, we're not doing anything with that truck other than driving it to get a tire changed. Again, in Atlanta, we change our own tires. We've got a mechanic that has 17 years of tire experience. We get our own tires, we put them on, they get them balanced. So we can make sure that these types of things are done before this driver ever comes back to the truck. Again, just we're going to start the truck. We're going to go back around it now. You're checking the lights, making sure that all the lights are working properly. We're looking back over the truck again here. You see that he's looking at both of the tail lights, making sure they're flashing. We're looking at that conspicuousy tape there at the top of the cab to make sure that both of those are there. You're listening to see if there's any air leaks that you notice anywhere on the truck. We're looking again at the side marker light there. See, it's illuminated and flashing. We're going to look over the top of the cab and see that we got the marker lights there. They're illuminated, and then we're looking at our headlights and making sure those are flashing. So, once we start the truck, we turn on the headlights, turn on your hazard lights, and then walk around that truck again, looking at the engine compartment, listening, making sure you don't see any what we call hot leaks, any coolant spewing anywhere, any fuel or anything else that would be spewing somewhere. We want to make sure that we're being mindful of what else is on the truck there. So that's a big part of our pre-trip. I want to also go over some things about when we get to the truck and we actually go to the terminal. I want to make sure we talk a little bit about that. When we get to the truck, we have, or when we get to the truck, when we go to the terminal, we want to make sure that when we get to the terminal that we have our mobile trip app, our MTA, we know what trailers were assigned. Kelly's going to go over that in just a few moments. When I get to the terminal, I want to find out where the trailer is. If the trailer's on the dock door, we always get out and look. If you could share, Maria, or Kayla, the flyer about getting out and looking, the video.
Okay.
We want to make certain that we get out and look and make sure that trailer door is closed. The DOT requirement is that the driver is responsible to ensure that the load is secured. Since you don't load the trailer, and again, we reiterate, we don't touch packages, we don't load the trailer. Our job of making sure the freight is secured is making sure the trailer door is closed, and there should be a seal on the trailer door. So we want to make sure that trailer door is closed. This is your friend. Your phone is your friend. We want to make certain that you have this right here so you can use the camera, a feature on the phone, and you take a picture. So we're going to watch this video here just real quickly.
When I'm about to perform my trailer hookup, you always want to make sure, you always want to get your trailer an inspection. Do not trust that green light. What you want to do is go back here and look yourself. Trailer's open, that means you do not take it.
So you can see the trailer door is wide open. The light on the building was green, but the trailer door is wide open. We do not hook up to that trailer. We don't even back under that trailer. We always get out and look. Just as we took this video, this was a great example. Sometimes you'll hear or see rather on your mobile trip app, hey, it looks like the trailer's closed, trailer's ready, trailer's closed. We don't trust what's on the mobile trip app. We don't trust what the lights say. We always get out and look. This is a great way. Not getting out and looking is a great way to get suspended you'd be made inactive safety, and sometimes you'd be suspended for 10 days or more. It's no good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's definitely not good for us. We don't, a lot of times we'll lose the load if we don't have another driver that's immediately ready to jump in there and cover that for you. So we don't want that. Again, this is, hey, we want to make sure you understand the rules so this doesn't happen. The simplest thing in the world to happen is to make sure you get out and look. Get out of the trailer, get out of the truck, go to the back of the trailer, just like I took a video of this. Use your phone, use your camera, take a picture, make sure the trailer door is closed. Okay. Now, if you would please go ahead and show our other information about this getting out and looking, the brochure sheet, I guess, of people getting out and looking. We want to get out and look. So vital. That is so important. We have stickers on a lot of the tractors, driver side mirror, GOAL. What's the goal? Get out and look. So always make sure you get out and look. Your job depends on it. You got to get out and look. So again, looking and inspecting, you can see, there's that flap there on some of them, just like we walked around. You saw how I put the phone in there around that area. You're always getting out and inspecting around that safety pad. There should be a cutout, so you always get out and look. We want to make sure I've got my phone. I take a picture. If the trailer's closed, I walk back to my truck. I back up under the trailer. I've got to get back out once I do my tug test. I have to get out and hook up my air lines and my electric cord. That has to be done. So when I get back out and hook up my electric cord, again, using my shim and hook up my air lines, walk back to the back of the trailer and look one more time, make sure the door is still closed. Then walk back to your truck, get in the truck as soon as reasonably practical. Like as long as there's not a switcher driving right in front of me, another truck driving right in front of me, I'm going to release that air brake. I'm going to put the truck in drive and I'm going to pull forward a minimum of 10, 15 feet, minimum. Hopefully you're going to pull out and get ready to set up to put your set together. But a minimum of 15 feet. We want to signal this trailer's off the door. Again, I like to explain the why. We have had situations where drivers gone back, looked, trailer door was closed, come back, hook up to the trailer and go back and the trailer's open and they're throwing packages back on it again. If the trailer's on the dock door, it's fair game. They can open it up. Are they supposed to? No. But if you don't have a picture that you showed that you took a picture and you got out and looked, listen to me. If you don't take a picture, it didn't happen. I've got no evidence. I've got no proof. I can't go back to FedEx and say, well, now he checked. He checked. She made sure that door was closed. They're going to say, yeah, that sounds like a likely story, but they might have checked the trailer next to them. They might have hooked up to the wrong trailer. Do you have a picture? Okay. If you don't have a picture, what proof do you have? So again, I say, if you don't take a picture, it didn't happen. It's not always that you have a trailer on the dock door, but if you do, always take a picture. Don't need that picture if you pull the trailer off the door is closed, everything works out successfully, no problem. It's a CYA situation. You want to cover yourself to make certain, hey, I looked. This is how I prove that I looked. I took a picture. I wouldn't have had a picture of this trailer if I didn't look. And again, in order to take that picture, I need to at least get some digits of that trailer door number on there, right? The trailer number is on the bottom left-hand side of those doors. So I've got to get at least 2 or 3 digits of that number in that picture. Note, if they want you to pull off a 53-foot swing door trailer, we don't never do that. You call a driver manager and say, hey, they want me to pull off this 53-footer off a door. It's a swing door. Well, why? Because we can't do anything to verify the door's closed. We can't guarantee that. It's a swing door trailer, especially if you've got trailers on each side. You have to pull it out at least 53 feet to get past the other trailers in order to be able to actually close the doors. So again, we never do that. You ask for a switcher to pull that off. You talk to a driver manager. We never pull off a 53-foot swing door trailer from a dock. Never. Let a switcher do that. Then let's show about the dollies. We've talked about this. You've got to get out and look. In all situations, we always get out and look. The other thing that FedEx requires us to do is they require us to put trailers back and equipment back where they have instructed. So as I mentioned just a little bit earlier, one of the things they instruct us to do is, hey, when I've got inbound trailers, always bring my sets in. I always break my trailer sets down. I always break my sets down. I put my trailers in the inbound. If I had an empty pup with me, I put my loaded in the inbound. I put my empty up. I put my dolly back in the dolly pool. We always take a picture in all locations, especially in the Atlanta area. But in every location, they've had such problems with people just dropping dollies in the middle of the yard. The switchers don't have pintle hooks. They have to hire people to come in and move those. It's our responsibility. Natalie and I signed an agreement that said we will educate our drivers to make sure they put dollies in the dolly pool and put equipment where it goes. So ding, 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 school's in session. I rang the bell. Here's the lesson. Make sure you put your dolly in the dolly pool and take a picture. Maria's sharing with us a picture here in the dolly pool down at 303. Two very important things about this picture. Number one, we're taking a picture at an angle. On this angle, we should be able to read the dolly number. This has got one of the new plates on. This is a new dolly. It's got a new plate on it, so it's kind of hard to read. She's got a different picture here, and you can see here on this picture, you can read that dolly number there very legibly, very easily, 613553. It's very important I take it from an angle so I can read that. Secondly, it's also important that I have a background so I can identify where this is. Everybody see what's in the background? Of course you do. It's what? Other dollies. It's not in front of the line haul office. It's not over there at the fuel island. It's back in the dolly pool. So I'm taking a picture and I'm looking for two things. Looking for the dolly number, and I'm looking for other dollies in the picture. Again, I like to explain the why this is important. Last year, I got at least 24 calls, meaning 2 a month, and maybe one every 2 weeks, just about. Andy, your driver dropped a dolly in the wrong location, and we're going to fine you for that. And that's what we call an integrity issue. You and Natalie signed an agreement that you said, hey, we acknowledge and we basically acknowledge and affirm and agree that we're going to educate drivers to have them put them in the dolly pool. Well, you didn't do that. So we call that an integrity issue. Now, Andy's words is FedEx just said, hey, Andy, Natalie, y'all lied to us. You're liars. You lied. You didn't do what you said you were going to do. And so we're going to do everything we said we're going to do. We want to make sure that you understand, hey, we've got to take a picture, because again, if we don't take a picture, what? It didn't happen. So out of those 24 phone calls I got, I had at a minimum 21. I think I might have had 22, but for some reason, I think there was either 2 or 3 drivers that did not take a picture. And we have such a reputation now, especially in the Atlanta area and Savannah areas. They're like, hey, I know you teach your people to do that because I submit this picture to say, hey, whoa, we put our dolly back up. Well, how does this happen, Andy? I do it every time. That's fine. It's not a problem. I do it every time. Why do I need to take a picture? Here's why. Let's say that a different driver comes in. Maybe it's a wild team from somewhere else. Maybe it's a new driver that comes in from another location, first week on the job, and line haul says, hey, get your dolly, get ready for this set. Then they call them back 5 or 10 minutes later. Scratch that, drop that dolly. I've got you a 53-footer ready to go. Well, if it's a wild team, or if it's somebody that doesn't know, they haven't had this lesson that you're learning right now, they haven't had this education session, then they may just literally go, well, they told me to drop the dolly. I'm just dropping the dolly out here in the middle of the yard. Think about it. They never dispatched with it. You were the last one that dispatched with that dolly. So then when they find it in an hour or two, because they do the yard checks every couple of hours, when they find it in an hour or two, they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, Stephen just had that dolly, or Tony or Matthew, they had that dolly. They were the last ones that dispatched with that. Why did they leave it out there? And then they call me and send me a love letter about all the things that they're frustrated about. And rightfully so, I would get that. And then I'm going to go, wait a minute, time out. I hear what you're saying. I hate that happened. However, Stephen, Matthew, Tony, they sent me a picture. And here's the picture they sent me. Every time I've sent a picture in there, they're like, you're right. Okay, Andy, y'all did what you needed to do. Somebody else must have grabbed that dolly and didn't dispatch with it. And they've put it out there. Every time we've had a picture, it has saved us from being fined and saved us from basically being penalized, because we're monetarily penalized for not doing this. So again, this is a job requirement, just like putting fuel in the truck, just like doing a pre-trip, post-trip, taking a picture, putting your dolly up. If you didn't take a picture, it didn't happen. So make sure to take a picture. This is the why. They've talked about, hey, if we have the same driver doing this over and over and over again, we may make them inactive safety, meaning that they can't provide any service, do any work, and we don't want that to happen to you, and we don't want that for us either. So we want to make sure to point this out to you, that please take a picture of putting the dolly back in the dolly pool. It shows efficient that you know exactly what you did, and it proves that you did exactly what you were asked to do. With that, I'm going to give the floor here to Kelly. Let her share with us a little bit about the mobile trip app and some other items that she wants to share with. So Kelly, take it away.